Here's a truth most people spend their entire lives avoiding. You are replaceable. At work, someone else can do your job. In relationships, someone else can take your place. In the world, life goes on without you. No pause, no dramatic collapse, no moment where everything stops because you're gone. It continues. And the most uncomfortable part? People don't talk about this because it goes against everything we want to believe. We want to feel special, irreplaceable, important. We want to believe that our presence is unique, that our role cannot be filled, that if we leave, something essential is missing. But reality is quieter than that, and far less emotional. The Stoics understood something most people spend their lives trying to ignore. The moment you believe you cannot be replaced is the exact moment you stop growing. At first, this idea feels harsh, almost offensive. Your mind resists it. It wants to argue. No, I matter. No, I'm different. No, they need me. And maybe, in some ways, you do matter, but not in the way your ego wants to believe. Because the world does not operate on feelings. It operates on value, on contribution, on what you bring consistently. And that is where most people slowly begin to lose their position without realizing it. Look at how people live once they become comfortable. They get a job, and after a while, they relax. Not physically, but mentally. They stop pushing themselves. They stop learning as aggressively. They stop questioning their performance. They assume their position is secure. They think, I've proven myself. I've earned this. I'm safe now. In relationships, the same pattern appears. At the beginning, there is effort, attention, energy, presence. But over time, people assume stability means permanence. They stop trying as much. They stop paying attention to details. They stop growing individually. They believe the connection will hold itself together. And slowly, without any dramatic moment, things begin to shift. Then one day, something happens, and it feels sudden. But it wasn't. Someone else gets the promotion. Someone else gets chosen. Someone else steps into the role you thought was yours. In relationships, someone else captures their attention, not necessarily because they are better in every way, but because they are more present, more engaged, more aligned with what is valued in that moment. And you're left there, confused, surprised, maybe even hurt. Where did this come from? How did this happen? I thought everything was fine. But the truth is, it didn't happen in a moment. It happened slowly, while you were comfortable, while you assumed things would stay the same. And then the realization hits hard. The world does not pause. It does not slow down to adjust for your expectations. It keeps moving, constantly, relentlessly. And if you are not evolving with it, you are falling behind, quietly. Human beings crave significance. This is deeply rooted. You want to believe that you matter, that you are unique, that your presence has weight, that you cannot be easily replaced. This belief protects your ego. It gives you a sense of stability, a sense of importance. But it also creates something dangerous: blindness. Because the moment you believe you are secure, you stop checking yourself. You stop asking hard questions. You stop improving with urgency. You stop adapting. You become static in a world that is constantly moving, and that is where value begins to fade. Not instantly, not dramatically, but gradually. Like a slow decline you don't notice until it becomes obvious. Meanwhile, the world does not stop. Other people are learning faster, smarter, more aggressively. They are building skills, sharpening their thinking, improving their discipline. They are not waiting for opportunities, they are preparing for them. And when the moment comes, they are ready. Not because they are lucky, but because they did not assume anything was guaranteed. They did not rely on past success, they focused on current value. Reality does not reward comfort, it rewards contribution. It rewards those who continue to evolve, not those who once proved themselves. This is the truth most people avoid because it requires responsibility. It requires awareness. It requires letting go of the illusion that anything is permanent. The Stoics lived with this awareness daily, not as a source of fear, but as a source of clarity. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself constantly, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This was not about being negative, it was about being awake. Nothing is guaranteed, not your position, not your reputation, not your relationships. Everything exists in a state of change, and when you truly understand this, you stop taking things for granted. Epictetus took this even further. Never say about anything, "I have lost it," but "I have returned it." Think about that. What you have is not permanently yours. Your job, your status, your relationships, your position in someone's life, they are not possessions. They are temporary arrangements, and they can change at any moment. This does not mean you become detached from life. It means you become aware of its nature, and that awareness changes how you act. Seneca warned about attachment to status and comfort. Fortune can take away what it has given. What you have today can disappear tomorrow, not because life is unfair, but because nothing is fixed. And if your identity depends on something external, you are always vulnerable. The Stoics did not try to become irreplaceable. They did something more powerful. They focused on becoming valuable every day. Not once, not occasionally, consistently. Because they understood something simple. Value is not something you achieve, it is something you maintain. Most people think, if I'm appreciated, I'm safe. If I have this position, I'm secure. If I've proven myself, that's enough. But reality does not work like that. Nothing is permanent. Value is not a one-time achievement. It is a continuous process. You don't keep your place by having it. You keep it by continuing to deserve it. You don't maintain respect by earning it once. You maintain it by showing up with discipline, again and again and again. And here is the shift that changes everything. Being replaceable is not your weakness. Ignoring it is. Because when you accept this truth, something inside you wakes up. You stop drifting, you stop assuming, you stop relying on past versions of yourself. You become present again, sharp again, focused again. You start asking better questions. Am I still growing? Am I still improving? Am I still bringing value? Or am I just repeating what I've already done? These questions are uncomfortable, but they are necessary, because they pull you out of complacency. When you accept that you are replaceable, you stop chasing comfort. You start chasing growth, not from fear, but from clarity. You understand that staying the same is not neutral, it is decline, because while you stay the same, others are moving forward. This does not mean you live in anxiety, it means you live with awareness. There is a difference. Anxiety comes from fear of losing. Awareness comes from understanding reality. And awareness gives you control, because now your actions are intentional, not reactive. You begin to build yourself differently. You focus on skills, not titles. You focus on discipline, not motivation. You focus on consistency, not bursts of effort. Because you realize something important. Anyone can show up once. Few people can show up consistently at a high level without excuses, without complacency.
That is what creates real value. You stop trying to appear important. You start becoming useful. You stop needing constant recognition. You start building undeniable results. You stop depending on others to maintain your position. You start reinforcing it yourself every single day. And over time, this creates a different kind of presence. You are no longer easy to overlook, not because you demand attention, but because your value becomes clear, consistent, reliable, strong. You don't need to convince people. They see it through your actions, through your discipline, through your standards. This is what makes someone hard to replace. Not ego, not belief, not words, but value that is continuously reinforced. In the end, the Stoics lived by a rule that most people try to avoid. You are replaceable, so earn your place every single day. Do not rely on what you did yesterday. Do not rely on comfort. Do not assume anything is guaranteed, because the moment you stop growing, someone else is preparing to take your place. Not because they are better than you, but because they are becoming better than you. And when you truly accept this, something powerful happens. You become different, focused, disciplined, uncomplacent. You stop waiting, you stop assuming, you start building, relentlessly, quietly, consistently. And that is what makes you dangerous in a way most people never understand. Not because you believe you are special, but because you never stop becoming valuable. And in a world where most people become comfortable, that alone makes you very hard to replace.